Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Magnus and today we are going to talk about Checkpoint R81. R81 is Checkpoint's latest release and it was actually released only like 2 days ago. And we actually reached 1000 subscribers on the channel like 2 days ago as well. So celebration for both Checkpoint and for this channel. So thank you for watching and staying put with me for this couple of months. It actually took like 14 months to reach 1000 subscribers, but well, this is fun, so let's just start this. So the R81 include a lot of new features, and I will just highlight a few of them. Personally, I think this is like an MSP release or more or less built for service providers because there is a lot of nice features for VSX and for MDS. So not really CCSA or so, but well, it's a new release and you should know some about it. So if you go to Checkpoint's website, they will of course like promote the new release. It's not recommended for all deployments. It's just recommended if you want the latest and greatest and you want some nice features, because there are some nice features for companies like integration with Azure Active Directory and with Kubernetes. And Kubernetes and Azure Active Directory is something that a lot of companies use. So R81 can be useful for more people than only for service providers. So if you scroll down here, this is what Checkpoint more or less want to highlight themselves. And you can see there is some nice stuff about the threat prevention capabilities. And I would say the biggest thing when it comes to the like threat prevention capabilities and so on, it's I would say it's this one. TLS 1.3, because this has not been supported before and a lot of traffic is actually going on TLS 1.3. So this is something that everyone has been waiting for, to really be able to use HTTPS inspection, and now finally it's here. So if you want to know the details, just check Checkpoint website. And when it comes to security gateways and Gaia, well, they highlight the HTTP inspection that I just mentioned, and this is the TLS 1.3 that is the big thing. There are some caveats when it comes to this. So you need to have user space firewall enabled, meaning you need to have R81 on your gateway as well. And when it comes to like generic data center objects, this is something that is cool. Because the updatable objects is what we need to make dynamic policies. And I will show you this a bit later, especially when we come to play around with R81 in a lab environment again. When it comes to policy install, I mean, if you are used to running big checkpoints installation, policy installation can be, well, something that takes a lot of time, like 5 minutes for installing a policy, compared to like a Cisco ASA where it takes one second. It's a big thing. But when it comes to R81, they have actually added 2 new features. I don't know if it's actually the delta, like only the changes are transferred, but they say more or less that it's 90% faster than previous versions. And one big thing that you can actually do at the same time is a parallel policy installations. So that will also make a big difference. And I don't know, Checkpoint have made some YouTube videos about this, so you can just check there or test it for yourself. One of the coolest things, or maybe that you don't think about it so much, is the net things. So Checkpoint has added hit counts on the net rules. So actually now you can figure out if you're actually using the net rules at all. This is something that has been missing for a long time and has been requested a lot. And if you check here as well, so the net part of Checkpoint has been fairly limited before, but now you can actually use the domain objects, the updatable objects, and you can use security zones. And when you can use security zones, that means that you can actually do netting per interface. And this is something that other vendors have been able to do for a long time, and this is something that has limited Checkpoint. Well, if you're a service provider, you have experienced this issue more or less. If customers has the same IP ranges and you want to use like a centralized firewall, you needed to do different VSs, more or less one VS per customer. even if you only have like one central service that all the customers should use, or you needed to like put the netting in some other device. I hope this will solve some strange things that, or some things that I have been wanting for a while. So I will definitely check this out, and we will lab about it and just see if it's actually how I think it is. I hope so. One big thing when it comes to identity awareness, there is actually two things, and that's the support for Azure Active Directory. This is something that was really needed because more and more companies is moving up their stuff to the cloud, and Checkpoint, you want to have identity awareness. So you should not be limited to if you only have on-prem, so now you can actually have it in Microsoft Azure. And when it comes to here, nested groups, well, this is something that you have been able to change yourself. Before, you could just take like, I want to dig down 20 lines. So this, I don't know if this is something new or something that is actually needed. This is something that has been working before. This one, I think this is regarding when you move objects within the Active Directory, you actually needed to like reapply the Active Directory rules, because they were like put on a path, like specific path. So if something was moved in the Active Directory, your rules did fails. So I'm not an AD guy, but I hope this is it, so that you can move around it within the Active Directory and without losing your policies. That is what it sounds like, at least. I guess we need to check this because this is turned off by default, and maybe that's something that we need to enable. IPsec, I mean, the biggest thing, it was in R8040 when it comes to the granularity, to have it a VPN domain per peering partner instead of per gateway. I guess that's nice to have a bit nicer encryption. What do we have more? Mobile access. Mobile access is something that I used before, especially for like external third parties that we needed to give access to our internal resources, and this worked quite well. But the latest time it has been some issues with like the newer web browsers, and I think this is a quite nice thing actually. So they more or less they support the new web browsers that they had some issue with, and apparently it's a new GUI. So let's check there as well. Clientless RDP and SSH. Well, that's nice. I mean, before it was like HTTP, and then you could have, I guess, some web browsing and file share and so on. Custom AD attributes. I think in general mobile access is a good way, and I used it a lot to give access to third party, as I said. This one is really interesting, especially when it comes to service providers, or I hope so. Geoclustering. It's a new type of clusters, and they say it's for cloud environments. So I hope this is possible to do on-prem as well. I haven't checked it out, but it's to be able to have the sync interface over L3. So I'm guessing that they use like VXLAN and so on to really check this out, because L2 connectivity on trusted network between, yeah, okay. I hope this is, or I think this is with VXLAN. This is something that I need to check out on, because this can be really cool if you want to build like an active clusters in different geographical locations. So we need to dig on this one quite a lot more. When it comes to VSX, as I said, I think the R81 in general is really made for service providers, like clustering, this NAT-based policies, the multiple policy installation at the same time and so on. But VSX is something that service providers use a lot, and bigger companies use this as well. more or less it's the possibility to have virtualized firewalls on the same hardware. And there have been some limitation when it comes to VSX and virtual routers. So virtual routers has not been supported for VSLS before, and VSLS is if you want to use, if you have like 2 gateways at the same time, and you want to use both of the members, so you use the hardware, all of the hardware that you have in one cluster, more or less an active configuration, but it's only like one customer is active on one VS and the other customer is active on the second VS. So it's a nice way to do load sharing. If you run VSX, you should be running VSLS. It's, well, great. Okay, this is also possible with bridge interface. Well, that's nice. What do they have more? Well, this one. That's the biggest thing. I mean, to be able to have APIs to the VSX, well, we needed that. We could fix all of this with like VSX provisioning tool and so on to really to get the functionalities, but it was not really a REST API. So to be able to have a VSX REST API would be great benefit. I haven't checked what is actually included in it, but well, it's nice to see that they finally include it. Independent QS and DNS configuration per virtual system. Well, that's great. So then if you have like one VS per customer, they can have their own DNS settings. Before it was sent from VS0, and that's a bit, well, that can be a bit complicated. So to have it per virtual system is great. More functions per virtual systems within VSX is better. It gives more flexibility. When it comes to this VSX util tool, more or less, if you did do an upgrade before on a VSX and you needed to roll back, well, then you are in big trouble, because then you needed to roll back your management station, because, well, more or less all the information regarding the VSX configuration is on the management station. So if you needed to roll back a VSX, well, tough luck. Either you can use the downgrade in VSX utility, and it has been existing for a couple of years, but it has not been supported. So to have the support from R81 on the management part, great, finally. It makes upgrades and downgrades a lot easier if it's supported. Before, I mean, it worked, but it wasn't supported, so it was like, pray and hope it works. A bit strange, but now it's supported, finally, thank you. Enhanced multi-queuing distribution for IPsec VPN traffic. I think this was included in already like R8030 or something. Before it was only one kernel, so to say, to be able to use for IPsec VPN. So if you had a lot of IPsec VPNs, well, tough luck, you couldn't distribute the load over the complete box. But it sounds like it's possible now with the multi-queuing. I don't know what this is. Performance impact or performance improvements. Yeah, that's great. Schedule gaia snapshots. Well, I actually don't use that because I have open servers. Added support for, okay, I don't know what that is, but I guess that's good for, well, if you have your stuff in Google. This is what I'm talking about before. I think it's the VXLAN and the grid tunnel and so on that actually gives the possibility to have these geo clusters. Finally, LLDP, great. Welcome to the show. LLDP is a great way to actually figure out how your stuff is connected. It has been it has been complicated if you're running VSX and you're doing bonds and you're doing HA and so on. LLDP will help a lot, especially when you're running open servers, because, well, open servers, you don't really know what the interfaces will actually be called when you connect the cables. You need to figure that out, and you need to do a list and so on. So, well, to have the LLDP Possibility within Clish and the Gaia portal. That's awesome. That's awesome, really. I don't know if that is important. Multi-queuing for management and sync interfaces. Well, yeah, in huge environment, maybe that's good. I mean, multi-queuing, you still need to have like a 10 gig interface to actually utilize, and most people are not using 10 gig for a management interface. Maybe they're using that for the sync interface, but still great. Some more part for REST APIs, that's nice. IPv6. Who actually uses IPv6? Within Europe, it's not a lot of people that use IPv6. Advanced routings, well, some IPv6 stuff, great. BGP support for VXLAN, perfect. I use very little advanced routing. I actually use static routing for most of my stuff, but if you want to run it in a cloud environment and really have a dynamic thing, you need to use advanced routings, more or less BGP or OSPF. So, I mean, RIP, I don't know who used that, but, well, OSPF and BGP. BGP for service providers, OSPF for like enterprise environments. Cloudguard LaaS. Let's see here. What do you have more? You have some new data center objects. I think that's great, and it sounds like it's coming more and more. The most useful object ever, it's the Office 365. I mean, all the companies is using Office 365, and the dynamic objects for those parts they work perfectly. Data center support, Kubernetes. Well, I have been waiting for this for like 2 years, so I need to check this out really fast, because well, I want to be in control of the traffic, and when it comes to Kubernetes, an issue is like you have the microservices, and there is a lot of microservices that share the same IP addresses. So let's say you assign a /24 to a Kubernetes environment. You don't really know which IP address the microservices will have, so you need to open for the /24 more or less everywhere. And that's, I don't really like that. I want to have control, and to be able to interact with Kubernetes. I think that's the way to go. New data center objects, well, vCenter version 7. I mean, vCenter has been supported before, but this is just a new version. So great that they are releasing it. System proxies. That's great, because not part of all environment has like internet connectivity. So to be able to use proxy settings to reach the internet, I think that's really good for like banks and some government stuff. Aggregate all data center objects. That's nice. Then you can group stuff together. Gives it a bit more flexibility. Integration for VMware NSXT for east-west, meaning the internal traffic within the VMware NSX. Great. We're using VMware NSXT as well, so I would love to get some input there. It's well, I don't have so much control over it today. So when it comes to the management part, Checkpoint has added quite a lot, and they have included something called Central Deployment Tool. It has been around for, well, a couple of years, but it's quite hard to actually use it, and you needed to invest quite a lot of time to actually use it. And now they have built it into the management station. And this is what gives the possibility to do the upgrades of gateways and clusters within the smart console. And this is true for both normal gateways and for VSX. And this is something that we definitely should check. And you can actually like download the installation packet and do an offline installation to all your gateways. I think this sounds perfect, and I have seen it, and it actually works. It more or less was too good to be true, but this is perfect. Multi-domain servers, well, domain cross-search, perfect if you have big environments. HA, I haven't used that so much. I need to look into that more. Dedicated log servers and dedicated, yeah, this is perfect for MSP environments as well, to have dedicated log servers or dedicated to smart event. I mean, you can have an MLM and then to have like a virtual log server, but this is the possibility to have, well, real log server, so to say, not the virtual one. Management REST API, they have added a lot of more stuff regarding identity tags and MDS. This is something that we need to check on more. Support for multiple TACX servers. Well, before you can only add one TACX server, and we use this TACX, but I actually needed to set up radius servers just for checkpoint because I want redundancy. So finally, I don't know why this haven't been supported before, but now it works. The license part has been in the old GUI, so to say. It looks like it's added to Smart Console now. I haven't seen it, so this is something that we should check out. Smart event, okay, I don't really know what that means. And better upgrade process, perfect. And we see also here that logging and monitor has been improved, and I would say it's more or less new APIs, and so it's now possible to export logs with the timestamp of milliseconds. Well, that's perfect. Logging should be as accurate as possible. Some new APIs for log exporter. Well, that's good. Log exporter, if log exporter is if you want to send like logs to a CM system that is not handled by Checkpoint. So new APIs is in general always good. Endpoint, I don't use Endpoint so much anymore. I did use it before. I think it was really good, but our company has decided to go for a different vendor. So I don't have so much control over this, but integration with Vesus, perfect. TACX for remote help. Well, remote help was always struggling. It's like, I don't know, 30 signs that you need to punch in manually. So to have RD web help, perfect. In general, really nice changes, and most of them is stuff we have been asking for a long time. So it's great that Checkpoint actually implements stuff that we ask for. If you want to check more like in details, you need to go to release notes, resolve the issue, and known limitations. Sadly, it's still, you need to download the new Smart Console, and it's not backwards capability, so you need to have one Smart Console per version that you're actually running on your management stations. The downloads are now available. They were not available for like 1 day, but they are now available for everyone to download. I don't think you will see them in CPUs until it's like more... I'm not sure if you will see them in CPUs until they have like a better status, like the first Jumbo hotfixes has been released, and Checkpoint is seeing that you're actually using these versions because they don't want to press it out to CPUs before they have like a certain level of quality. So R81 is for people that want to try these new features that we just checked on. It's not recommended yet. It's still the R8040 that is recommended. So R81 is for people that want to try the new features, and if you're building a new lab or if you're planning to install a new management station, well, this is something for you maybe. I wouldn't upgrade the gateways just yet. I would wait for the first like 5 hotfixes before I try to upgrade gateways, especially if it's important production stuff. Labs, well, do as you want. As always, there is also like an upgrade map and backwards capability map. So let's see what this is actually possible to manage. Let's see. So if you're running R81, the oldest version that you can support for gateways is R77.30. So if you haven't upgraded, make sure to upgrade. Let's see how well the upgrade features works in Checkpoint R81. Hopefully it works great. I think so. The backwards capability map is a lot smaller now. Before it was, well, a lot bigger with all the versions. They don't even list the older versions now. So if you have something older than R77, well, you have some upgrades to do. I did actually see one in the forum that asked for upgrading like an R55. I hope that was not in production because R55 is like, I don't know, 10 years. So this is great. I like to see new features, and here you see the major releases and so on that we talk about in the release terminology. What do we have more? We have an upgrade map, so we can see what you can actually upgrade from. So it's easy to upgrade to R81 from R8020, I would say it's easy. R8010, it's double stars, and upgrade first to R8040 is the recommendation there. So just check this. Checkpoint has also the upgrade and download wizard. So you can put in like, we have an upgrade next, and it's a management server. We're running VMware. We have this VMware version. We're upgrading from, I don't know, R8040. Oh, we can take something longer back, R77.30 to R81. Then it will show you how to do this in step by step, and show you which files you actually need to download. So that's it for this video, and I hope you did like it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done. The next videos will be more or less about R81 and how to upgrade and check the new features out. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye.